Hi, everybody. Welcome to the podcast. I hope you guys are doing great no matter where you're at in the world. I wanted to do a quick update on a major transit that is happening, and that is Chiron. This is the point of our chart where we hold one of the deepest woundings, but it's also where we hold our greatest medicine, is getting ready to change signs on June 19th. I've got a bunch of notes written down, so I'm going to refer to those. And this is important because it's going to be a collective shift, because this is not going to just affect those of you that have Chiron and Taurus natively, but it's going to affect all of us depending on where we have Taurus placed in our natal charts and our progress charts and what we might be working on through there. So I want to talk through that. So this is going to move on June 19th. It will dip back into Aries on September 17th of this year and stay there until it finally moves into Taurus on April 14th, 2027. This is going to give us a little preview of what kind of themes and information we may be receiving during this time frame. So let's go back and talk about where we're at now and where we have been. So we have been having Chiron moving through the sign of Aries, and this has been happening since 2018. Those of you that have Chiron natively in your chart in the sign of Aries, this would be anybody born between 1968, April 1st, 1968 to March 28th, 1977. That is the Chiron and Aries generation. We had a few dips in there, so not everybody in that time frame has Chiron and Aries, but most of us have Chiron and Aries. This is the Gen X generation. So we have been going through it since 2018, really going through a massive transformation as we've been having our Chiron return. You typically only have one Chiron return. It hits in your 50s. Usually in your early 50s is when you have your Chiron return, early to mid 50s. So it's really rare that you have a second Chiron return. And these are really important pivot points in our evolution and our human experience when we have a Chiron return, because we are really kind of reworking a specific core wound that we are carrying. And we are learning how to navigate through that deep hurt and that deep wound. And we're transmuting that and we're transforming it into a healing power. So it is an extremely important time and transit that we all go through individually in our natal chart and in our human experience. So what's interesting about this is that we've had some different expanded focus over the last few years with this transit of Chiron going through Aries. So Aries and Chiron going through that, the main thrust, the main theme is around hurt people hurt people. So we tend to really lash out. If we think about Aries in general, Aries is about the I am. It is about who we are. It's our identity at its core. And it's ruled by the sign of Mars, which is the god of war, the god of aggression. And so those of us who were born in that era, between 1968 and 1977, we are true Gen Xers. And there was a lot of emphasis around our independence during that time and having to be on our own. And in many ways, that was kind of forced upon us. And so what we did during this period is we've been really working about really who I am at my deepest core. And this can be a total reworking of our identity, a total reworking of our sovereignty. Some of the themes are, do I have the right to exist? Do I have personal will? I don't want to be dominated in any way. I don't want to be erased. And so all of those are very core fundamental themes to our own personal identities. And as I said, many of us have gone through an entire identity crisis since 2018. Many of us have had our identities completely rewritten. And again, depending on which house Chiron sits natively in your chart, that's going to be the thrust or the area of focus that you're going to be having the biggest transformation around. For me, this was all in my 12th house. So for me, this was an entire reworking of my identity from a spiritual level, from the unseen, from the unconscious, really working through those unconscious wounds in many ways. And that included past life stuff, that included ancestral trauma, that included just trying to find my own identity and who I really am and what I am here to do. So many of you have probably been going through this. And again, depending on the house, you're going to have a specific focus. What's really interesting around this, and I started to do some research around it, every uprising has some sort of identity crisis tied to it. And it's really a battle of who gets to be seen and who really gets to be seen as fully human at this time. And that has been obviously amplified on a collective scale as well. So if we look at the events that are going on around the world, we are seeing that also play out in a big way. And I'm hoping that that's going to change in many ways. The last time we had this happen kind of on a collective scale that's mirroring what we are seeing today, especially with Pluto and Aquarius, is around the French Revolution. And the French Revolution was carrying the same wounding. And so we have been in that same energetic territory for the last few years. And again, I think everyday people are seeing that there's this imbalance that is happening. And, the basic human rights that each of us deserve, which is we deserve access to a roof over our heads. We deserve access to clean air, clean water, clean food. We deserve access to safety and to medical care. And those things have been really ripped away from most of us in a big way. And so what's unfortunate is that I talked about this in the last podcast around the lack mentality, right? That lack mentality continues to fuel our primal instincts. And if we don't feel like we have the right to exist fully, or my sovereignty isn't safe, or I must fight to be seen, those are the big themes that we're really have been working with around Chiron and Aries. And we've seen these inverted power structures that I've been talking about, really trying to control what that looks like. And each of us are stepping further into our own sovereignty and saying, nope, not happening. I'm not participating. I'm not going to do this anymore. And that is the rollback of what's really, really going on. The other thing I want to note is that we had our North Node, which is the direction that we're all heading collectively in Aries, and that happened between July 18th, 2023 and January 11th, 2025. This, again, was an over-amplification and a reworking of our own sovereignty and our own identity. That period of time was asking us to let go of over-accommodating these systems, these structures, or other people in order to further step into our identity. And I don't know about you guys, but there was a total reworking of relationships during that time. Many people came and went in that time, and it was very destabilizing energy. And this, again, was part of this being able to fully claim your own identity. Sometimes you had to strip everything away around you in order to be able to find who you truly were. And then adding to this, we just had Saturn and Neptune in February move into Aries. It had been in Pisces for quite some time, so it's moved into Aries. And now both our spiritual framework and the discipline, Saturn represents the structure, the discipline, the teaching, and Neptune is about this unseen spiritual place, is about the full embodiment. It is about taking that information, taking that energy, that spiritual energy, and fully embodying it. It's no longer about this escapism process, trying to get out of your body. And I've seen a lot of creators who've been in the spiritual space talking about the fact that they're kind of done with the escapism mentality, and they're really about pulling back into the body. Well, that's all energetically aligned to what's going on astrologically, because Saturn and Neptune moved out of Pisces, where Neptune was extremely comfortable about escapism. And it's saying, no, you got to put actual discipline to this, and you actually have to embody it now. And so Taurus is also about the body. So as Chiron moves into Taurus, we also have a furthering of that in many ways. So that's the background. This is what we've been going through since 2018. We have a little bit more to go on this, but again, we're getting this first preview of what Chiron and Taurus is about. So for anybody born between March 28th, 1977 and June 21st, 1983, again, there was a brief dip into Gemini during that time from about November 30th, 1983 to April 11th, 1984. So if you're in there, you actually have your Chiron in Gemini. This is the next group of you that are having your Chiron return. So you're getting closer to your 50s. And so over the next period, when this is transiting through here, you're going to start to have your Chiron return as well. Okay, so let's talk about Chiron and Taurus and what that means. So Taurus is about our body. It is about the earth itself. It is about our resources. It's really at the heart of it's about our value system. What do we value? And also, what do we need to actually survive and to thrive? So this is going to bring up a totally different wound as Chiron moves into Taurus. And this is around our worthiness and our abundance. Do you deserve this? Is there enough to share with everybody? Can the earth actually sustain me? Can it sustain us? And that is the lack mentality, right? This whole idea around we don't have enough. I need more, I need more, I need more. Remember, Taurus and the second house where Taurus normally sits also rules financial systems. It rules money. And we have seen the extraction of these inverted systems extracting from Mother Earth, extracting from our physical bodies, extracting resources, extracting wealth. All of these things have been being pulled back. And so now this is surfacing for us to really look around our wounds around worthiness and abundance. So we are going to need to start to shift our mindset from the material level, because Taurus is sometimes it's about that materialism. And remember, this is a human construct. This whole materialism thing didn't exist through all of humanity. We've created this in order to have, again, more control, and a certain number of people have that abundance. This is about moving away from that mindset and understanding that we do have enough. We have enough as long as we are in tune and we are connected back to what we should be connected to, which is to the earth, which is to our relationship with each other. There is totally enough to go around. So we're going to move from I don't have the right to exist in Aries to I don't have the right to have enough in Taurus. That is the thing that we're going to be grappling with. And the healing side around Chiron and Taurus is around learning to genuinely live in harmony with each other and with the earth. And that there's plenty of resources here as long as we don't have these inverted systems trying to control and extract these things. This is not about a hoarding situation. So all of these things are not accidental. All of these are very much aligned with a cosmological cycle that I've been talking about. All of these things are happening in tandem for a reason, and they are unfolding in a very beautiful way for a reason. The other thing I want to point out, which I'll make another video about, is the North and South nodes are again getting ready to change signs in July. We have been in Pisces in the North node, Virgo in the South node for the past 18 months. Now we're going to shift to the North node being in Aquarius. What else do we have in Aquarius? Pluto's in Aquarius, dismantling the systems and structures. Our vision is about this community. How do we build something that works for everybody? Chiron and Taurus is going to have us evaluating our wounds around that. And our North node in Aquarius is going to be asking us to really envision what that looks like. So again, these are all working together around all of this. So let me recap a couple of things. Pluto in Aquarius is dismantling the power structures. I talked about the cross of planning and human design, how we are wrapping up in early 2027, a 400-year cycle of being in the cross of planning, which is around building systems and structures that work for everybody, as long as we have the agreements that that is what we're supposed to do. Obviously, we've had an inverted system come in. This is also around our lack mentality and not feeling like we have enough and therefore we are not enough. All of that's wrapping up in February of 2027. And then we're going to move into the cross of the sleeping phoenix, which is all about our own sovereignty. It's all about pulling our power back. It's all understanding that we are part of something that is about making agreements in a way that works for us individually, that attunes to us, but also helps to work for more than just that. We are reinventing the way we live and the way that we operate. Our Chiron and Aries since 2018 has been resurfacing the wound of individual sovereignty. And now Chiron moving into Taurus means that we are going to have collective healing, and it's moving from the identity level into the body, into our physical body, and how we actually use the resources and live within the earth naturally and more harmoniously, okay? So this is a big shift. This is a big mind shift. This is a big energetic shift that we're going through. And it's really important for each of us to look at this. One of the reasons I started this other mini series called Reclaim Your Field, it is about this. It is about leading up to this change that we are going through, both Chiron moving into Taurus and also as we move into the sleeping phoenix in 2027. It is about changing how we relate to and how we are being extracted from, in many ways, from these systems, and how to slowly pull back our energy and make different choices from our financial resources, our energetic resources, our time and attention. How do we shift all that in order to be more in harmony with ourselves and with the earth? And that is what that whole series is really a foundational prep for as we move into this next phase. So as you kind of move towards this, understand where Chiron is sitting in your personal chart. If it's in your first house, I'm going to have this now move through because Uranus just moved through my first house. I'm a Taurus rising. So I'm going to have Chiron now moving through my first house of identity. So my identity is going to be completely reworked, how I see the world, how other people see me. That's the first house. Second house is going to hit really hard. This is around the value system. This is around the financials. This is around the material world. This is around the embodiment. Third house is around how you think, how you communicate. Fourth house is around your family, your home life, your foundation, your ancestral line. 5th house is around your playfulness, your creativity, your relationship with kids, your romantic relationships in many ways. 6th house is going to be around your day-to-day routines. This can be around your vocation, your true vocation, your relationship with your animals, your pets, and your coworkers. 7th house is your closest relationships, whether that's business partners or actual partners in life. 8th house is going to be much more around shared resources. So how are things moving through a shared scenario? These are things in the unseen realms as well. So this is much more on a deeper level, psychological pieces that are coming in. 9th house is around the higher mind, expansion, religious institutions, any sort of like higher mind thinking structures. 10th house is going to be around your public image. Career is very prominent here. Your relationship with your most prominent parent also comes through here. Your reputation. 11th house is going to be around the communities and the friendship groups and all the things you associate with that you're a part of. And the 12th house is the unconscious. It is the spiritual plane. It is around what is unseen. It is around us and the collective as a whole as well. So look at where that's at. You can get a free birth chart at astro.com, and you'll have a little bit of insights into how this transit's going to impact you. Take care. That's the transmission for today. If something landed for you, share it with someone who needs the map. New episodes drop when something real is moving through the field, so subscribe so you don't miss it. And if you're ready to understand your specific role in everything that's unfolding right now, a natal chart reading is waiting for you at StinaMeiers.com. Also, check out all of the free resources on my website and follow me on Instagram at the Stina Life. Take care.